All right. Well, everybody, good morning. Tom Dimitrovich here. And today is Friday. It's, thank God, right? We had a great, hopefully you had a great week this week. I hope you had a great week. Hope you were blessed with a good week. Got a lot done this week, I believe. And today we have Q&A Friday. So I'm picking that back up again because I am, I am back able to get some of this stuff done. So we pulled together some questions that I had that came up, and I'm still pulling those together. Some cool items. We're going to touch on fire pumps. I just had a discussion yesterday, and did you ever have one of those moments where you had what you thought was the right answer, and you gave it, and then somebody questioned it, and you say, well, geez, why is it? I believe it's right. And then you find the code sections, and then you just got to do your homework. And it's a fundamental thing. It's one of those fundamentals that that every now and then we have one of those brain freezes, and then you reassure yourself. And I was talking to Tim McClintock, our NEMA field rep out of Ohio, and he said, what did he call it? He says it was one of those moments. Oh man, I can't think of the word he called it, but it was a reality check. You know, it's one of those moments where you say, "Wow, I should know this," and your brain goes south. So anyway, we all have those, and that's when you leverage. And in my opinion, that's the strength of what the IAEI has brought me in my career, is that ability to go and communicate with my contacts that I've made and ask questions like that. So in any case, some of the things we're going to cover today is on fire pumps, fire pump controllers, and that when you're connecting to the line side of the service overcurrent protected device, that's sort of the road that I went down this week. I'm going to definitely cover on that. We've had some questions come in online about 1077 devices. 1077, that's your, those are your, that's a one of those devices that's, it's not a UL 489 device, but it's supplemental. And we're going to talk a little bit about 1077 devices today. UL 1077 devices. 12 o'clock Eastern. 12 o'clock Eastern. You got to check out my YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/C as in Charlie / Thomas Dimitrovich, full name, no spaces, and you'll find me. Or just go to YouTube and Google my name, Thomas Dimitrovich. I'll also put here. I'll put a link. Hopefully, this is coming through. I don't know if it is or not. I don't have my phone, but I'm going to put it in here. www.youtube.com/C / Thomas Dimitrovich, 12 o'clock Eastern. Hey, Jimmy, yes. No, you can't send a pic with a picture. There are some people, and just to be advisable, here's the thing you got to think about. There are some people that say that when they say, hey, I want to send you a pic, an image, and I got a question. There's some people you say, hey, yeah, send it, and there are some people that you don't. I'm not going to say who you don't let send you pictures. Is it true that reduced interrupting readings comes on a given low voltage breaker as the voltage increases is more because of asymmetrical? So we're going to talk about how an overcurrent protective device is tested, which I'm going to like this discussion. We're going to talk about some of the things that a lot of people don't think about in regard to the capabilities of an overcurrent protective device and interrupting current that is symmetrical versus asymmetrical. So interrupting an asymmetrical fault current is more difficult than interrupting a symmetrical fault current. But when we select and an overcurrent protective device, which we'll talk about, is tested against an asymmetrical fault current, but we don't publish that. What we publish are interrupting ratings based upon symmetrical fault current, which is what you would calculate normally in a short circuit study, right? So when we do a short circuit study, whether you're using SKM, EDSA, Easy Power, whatever it is, based on IEEE standards, and you know, when you do a short circuit study, it's basic math, and it's Ohm's law. You're leveraging all of the fundamentals that we're taught in engineering, and we're taught in even. I mean, I can go back to high school when I took trigonometry, right? And Mr. McLean out there. I know you're hopefully watching, but I'll name drop Mr. McLean. Mr. McLean taught me trigonometry and all that jazz, and we use those fundamentals as a part of our Jake. There's a Jake. I got a deer out in the corner of my yard, and Jake is sitting here watching that yard, and she comes out pretty much every morning, and I don't know what Jake's going to do. If he chases her, he's just going to he'll run to the end of the yard, and that's about it, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, we're going to talk about short circuit currents and how they're calculated, the fact that we calculate a symmetrical short circuit current, and you'll understand what symmetrical is if you tune in today at 12 o'clock Eastern. But when we actually test our overcurrent protective devices, we test against what we would consider a worst case asymmetrical short circuit waveform, and make sure that the overcurrent protective device can interrupt that. We're going to understand what that worst case, what we feel is, and the fact that depending upon where you're at in the power distribution system and the design, you may need to consider the X to R ratio of the system at the point of that overcurrent protective device to make sure you don't have to adjust the interrupting rating of the overcurrent protective device. So that's another important piece of the puzzle. So we're going to have that discussion. That might take some time. I also want to talk a little bit about 70E. There's what's considered an exposed electrical conductor, or exposed energized component, because we have barrier requirements, and I don't know what the right answer is, and I'm not going to go out on a limb and say this is what it means because it's 70E, but I would like to plant a seed and get your thoughts and get those wheels going on your opinions in regard to that the definition. So get your book of get your latest copy, latest edition. You can go out on the website, take a look at what an exposed, what do we call it? Exposed energized. If we go to our trusty dusty nfpa.org. Boy, the dogs are /70E. 70E, and just take a look at, we can go to signing on NFPA link. I'm telling you what, I'm loving it more and more every day, because look, I'm pulling up the latest edition of 70E right here on my iPad. And if you go to Article 100 definitions and take a look at the definition of, scroll down to exposed, that's it, as applies. So there's exposed as it applies to energized electrical conductors or circuit parts. That's the definition I want you to look at. And then there's exposed as applied to wiring methods. Let's take a look at circuit parts capable of being inadvertently touched or approached nearer than a safe distance by a person. It is applied to electrical conductors or circuit parts that are not suitably guarded, isolated, or insulated. And then what's the ramifications when you say it's not exposed? And I specifically want to look at, we have those barriers in place. So when you have a barrier or you have finger safe solutions and whatnot, question is, do you consider those exposed? That's the question. And then what's the ramifications? If you say it's not exposed, what does that mean? What's that translate into work when you speak about safe work practices? I'd love to hear your opinions on that. Anyway, what's another one? If I have do I have to pull a neutral? So the fire pump. So we got fire pumps. We'll talk 1077 devices today. We'll talk about the interrupting ratings and all that jazz. So that's the lineup today at 12 o'clock Eastern. Go out to my YouTube channel and check that out. It's going to come over here and make sure. Go out to my YouTube channel and I stream to my YouTube channel. I stream to my Facebook channel. There's 3 sites on Facebook that I stream to. You got to find out the other 2 that aren't mine. So you got some homework to do if you're interested in figuring that out. So Twitter, 3 Facebook sites, LinkedIn, YouTube would be 6. I haven't done Instagram, so probably not going to do Instagram. I think that's all of them. So anyway, about 6 sites. So take a look at that, and we will see you today, 12 o'clock Eastern, for another Q&A Friday. And we're going to have some fun and hopefully learn something, and hopefully you can communicate and chat it up. Be thinking about those things. Be thinking about what asymmetrical current is and what an interrupting rating is for an overcurrent protected device. Think about fire pumps when they're connecting to the line side of the service overcurrent protected device. And what is that conductor? Is it a service conductor? Is it a feeder? Is it a branch circuit? What about the equipment grounding? And what about the return fault current paths? What about that neutral? All that jazz. So help us all. We're going to take a look at that, have a discussion around that, and I'll relate some of the, sort of the question that came up that prompted some homework, where I guess we all have those moments when we just forget some of the fundamental stuff, and it takes a good friend and a colleague and someone else to spur that thought process, and all of a sudden all of those memories just come flooding back. So anyway, we will talk about that today. What else? I think that's our lineup for Q&A Friday. So hopefully you enjoy your Friday today. I'm going to be sitting here. I've got a bunch of meetings that we're going to have, and next week, taking a little holiday week, working around the house and putting up a pergola. I think that's what they call it. Just one of those little privacy boards or whatever, fences, over here by our backyard. I'll be working on that this weekend, and a bunch of other little honeydew items. So we got a list of things got to get done, and that's what I'll be doing this next week. And I do have a few meetings peppered in there, so hopefully I don't get in trouble by attending those meetings. And we will be doing our Tuesday IAEI News Live on Tuesday, 12 o'clock next week, so don't forget about that as well. So please tune into IAEI News Live next week. All right? All right, so just want to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover this morning before I let you all go. All right, so see you today, 12 o'clock Eastern. 12 o'clock Eastern. If you're going to watch on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, fine, please be my guest. But don't forget, get out there to my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. His subscriptions are free. Now there is forget about it, but just do the subscribe. Just do the subscribe. That's all you need to do, and hit that bell so you know when I go live, because I go live, I don't know when. And it's going to get more sporadic as we move forward, because I will be getting out to events, going to meetings, but I will try to go live at those events and get as many industry people as I can involved with that process of educating online. It's really important to share what you know and understand your limitations. Understand it's coming from here and it's coming out there, so it is not. Guys like myself and others who speak online don't speak on behalf of anybody other than ourselves. So question everything you hear and more of what you see. So always use these moments to spur your innovation and your thought process and your desire to go back to the code book or back to 70E and start reading some definitions and come up with some opinions of your own. So please, that's how we all grow. We share and we communicate. So hopefully I will see you online at 12 o'clock Eastern today. And I still haven't made a closing. Oh, I do have an end. But I think that end is IAEI News' end, so I can't press that button. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. All right. See you at 12 o'clock Eastern. Take care. Stay safe. Please stay healthy. God bless. Now I got to stop. I lost my buttons. There it is.